It's the Cooking Olympics Cooking Special.
What's up? I'm the Dean of Chefs, Dean Kropp. I'm out here on Staten Island. Thank you for coming out on the ferry. It's great. I'm a member of the American Culinary Federation and SAG-AFTRA. I was a pastry chef. I was Swiss trained in Chicago. I also went to culinary school, and I cooked for movie stars on sets. I made 15 different recipes. I made them simplified, and hopefully you can follow the recipe. Okay. And so I wanted you to remake something that came from 1900, 1902, from famous people, from famous chefs, so that you could be a part of this Culinary Olympic experience. Okay, ready to go.
Cool recipe from Chef Patrick. This is from the 2020 Culinary Olympics, the Sodexo Swedish culinary team. Chef Patrick, team manager, and he gave me the recipe. Let's make it. Saute the shallots. You're going to add your white wine vinegar, the liquid smoke, reducer, fish stock, reducer. I found the fish stock online in the jar, by the way. And then you're going to reduce that. Then you're going to add your creme fraiche. And then if you want to make it a little bit thicker, add a little more creme fraiche. Or you can do a teaspoon of cornstarch and water and make it thicker that way. So anyway, I served this for the Dover sole dish, but you can serve this with any fish dish. It's a great sauce.
The biggest culinary event is the ICA Culinary Olympics that started in 1900, Frankfurt, Germany. There's one man with a vision. His name was Mathis Karl Banzer, and his idea was to get chefs to cook and show people the cooking techniques and make it an international event with many countries coming together in order to show their cooking techniques. We have over 55 countries sending teams of chefs to come and compete for that gold medal. This event kicked off in 1900. It was the first cooking competition event to happen in Germany. That's where a lot of things evolved out of Germany. It became so big right off the bat, tens of thousands of people showed up for the first event. And each event after that, 1905, 1911, tens of thousands of people came because they wanted to see what the chefs were cooking with their food and to find out what their secret techniques were. And Banzer delivered that to his people. Each team goes through the same concept. You make an application. An email just went out, as a matter of fact, for the 2028 Culinary Team USA. So I can send it to you. So the applications go out, and then the judges from the American Culinary Federation want to see the person cook. So they have to cook in front of the judges to see if they can compete. And then they step up to the next event, which is a competition held within the United States here. Then the teams are selected when they can see the people cook and how they're going to behave on a team under pressure in an international setting. Okay, ready to go.
Hi, I'm your host, the Dean of Chefs, and you clicked on borscht. Borscht was the go-to soup in 1899, so let's make some borscht. First, dice the onion, strain the beets, then get your ingredients together, put everything in the soup pot, bring it to a boil, simmer 10 minutes, then you're going to add your beets that you had off to the side, cool it, and then refrigerate it, and then for service, you're going to scoop it in the dish, and then add a dollop of sour cream.
Back then, recipes were very complicated and very heavy, and a lot of vegetables and heavy stock, and roasted veal bones, and then fish, and all these things were put into the soup. And then the beets were added, and they were put sour cream, and all these heavy items. So what I did was I refined it and made it more avant-garde for today, and made a basic borscht soup with the beets and a little bit of vinegar, salt and pepper, served cold with sour cream. Actually, the first culinary fair took place in 1894. Queen Frederick, first daughter of Queen Victoria, was very concerned about what people were eating and their lifestyles. And she was concerned about the army. How did the food get to the armies when they were out in the battlefield? So she organized the first fair, and she actually sent an invitation to Banzer, please come to my fair. So he came to the fair to see what she organized, and he was very impressed. And from there, he said, all we need now are the chefs cooking live in front of the people when they come in to see it. So this is where the idea developed.
I'm your host, the Dean of Chefs, and you clicked on Lobster Newburgh. Oh, a fan favorite. All right, so let's do it. Okay, ready to go. Heat the butter, cook lobster, take it out of the shell, slice it up, and then you're gonna lay the lobster in, add the wine, the egg yolks. Now with the yolks, you gotta be careful because you wanna take a little bit of the heated liquid out, put it in the yolk, and then temper it, all right? And then you're gonna add the final heavy cream, salt and pepper, and you're gonna serve this with toast points. I know lobster is very expensive, so you could substitute crab classic as I did here in this other dish. All right.
One of Banzer's great marketing ideas was to get recipes coming from around the world to his office. So one was Lobster Newburgh from Delmonico's restaurant. Floated across the Atlantic, there was no email, no fax. He had to translate that into German and then publish it in his magazine. This is unbelievable. The motivation was to get the chef in front of the people to cook and show the cooking techniques to the public and get the public involved, which he did an amazing marketing job of doing that to the people. It was unbelievable. And then as the Culinary Olympics progressed, he would get the school children and the school teachers to come in and make marmalades and canned vegetables and canned fruit and entering into the competition so they could compete as well and get recognized for their work. This was also unheard of. It doesn't happen today. Started in 1900, Frankfurt, Germany. So it was such a big effort to get this event started that Banzer didn't pull off the second one until 1905. And it was a huge response. Then the next one after 1905 was 1911. But then Banzer was listening to what was going on about the onset of World War I. And so he was very big into politics, and he watched, the politics of Germany, which he didn't like how everything was going, in what direction things were heading. So 1911, of course, right after that was World War I. So the next event wasn't until 1925. Then Germany was starting to change, early 1930s. Then Hitler took over, and he also took over the Culinary Olympics, which was a big defeat for Banzer. Post World War II, who was going to start the Culinary Olympics again? So the Swiss Chefs Association came together in Zurich and Bern, and they voted to get the ICA Culinary Olympics restarted in Frankfurt in 1951, which was a big deal.
Your host, the Dean of Chefs, and you clicked on Sarah Bernhardt Soup. And I've got my soup pot ready to go once again. Let's make some Sarah Bernhardt soup. Okay, ready to go. I know you're asking me, Dean, who's Sarah Bernhardt? She was a dramatic, very famous French actress from the mid-1800s into the early 1920s. When you get that famous, you get a soup named after you. So hey, you never know. Anyway, two chefs worked on it. Urbain Dubois started it, and then Auguste Escoffier finished it. It's a shrimp and crab-based soup. This soup contains yellow beets. So I know it's a problem finding yellow beets. If you do find them, they're next to the red beets at the supermarket. If you can't find yellow beets, I made a version with the red beets. It works, but you gotta cook them separately. You're gonna dice the celery, the onions, and the green pepper. I'm gonna cook the shrimp separately. Okay, saute the onions and celery, green pepper. Add the yellow beets that have already been diced. Add the flour, then the stock. Cook it slow. Make sure it's thick. Add the shrimp and the crab. Add the herbs, bay leaves, the ham. Temper the yolks with a ladle of stock and stir that into the soup. And then finish it off with a half bottle of champagne. And then for service, we're going to serve it with the green and white asparagus laid in the dish, as you can see, the soup dish, and then pour it in and enjoy. And I'm telling you again, your friends and family will come back for more.
What happened was the teams of chefs would come from all over the world to Frankfurt to compete. So what they would do, they would go back to their country and say, hey, there's this event, the Cooking Olympics, the Culinary Olympics, whatever you want to call it. So word of mouth would spread, and then the attraction would get bigger and bigger, and that the people would come, more chefs would come, because it was very prestigious to come and cook at the Culinary Olympics. It's a big deal. In 1865, New York City, Société Culinaire Philanthropique organized their first French Chefs Association. Now, you have to understand, cooking was segregated. The French would stay with the French, the Germans would stay with the Germans, the Italians would stay with the Italians, and forget about it. You're not invited. So chefs finally started to get mixed up a little bit with each other when they all came over here to cook in America in the 1960s. American Culinary Federation was formed in 1929 in New York City. So we have these two chefs associations. It took them some time to come together because you got the French and you have the Americans. So once these two clubs came together, it was 1954. They went to this hospice event in Bern, Switzerland, and they presented the first Culinary Team USA, and it was a huge success. The Society of Culinaire Philanthropique agreed there has to be a Culinary Team USA for 1956. So that's when the first team actually appeared at the Culinary Olympics in Frankfurt in 1956. The other main event, which attracts a huge amount of attention, is the Culinary World Cup coming up in 2 years in Luxembourg. The Culinary World Cup started about 1970 because they saw, this is Luxembourg now, that they saw that the Culinary Olympics was a big deal. And it also gave the teams of chefs a chance to compete on an international level at another event besides the Culinary Olympics. So it's kind of like a tune-up. So the Culinary World Cup is also very important for the chefs to come. And so I'm very excited to go there in 2026.
Thanks for watching. Happy cooking. I'm the Dean of Chefs. You have probably never heard of the Cooking Olympics, or me, but that's okay. I've been featured in Food Today with Donna Hanover, on Better Get Picaro, and ABC News. My book, The Cooking Olympics, is the world's best kept secret, and it combines the story of the restart of the Olympic Games in 1896, and how they inspired the Cooking Olympics, which started in 1900. It's the only book that featured Beyonce and World War II. In the book, you will find my Sarah Bernhardt soup, Boston fish chowder, and my lobster Newburgh, to name a few. They are complete with QR codes, which allows you to follow along where you can watch me make the recipes featured in the book. It's out on EPUB, KDP, and print, where books are sold. So get your copy of the Cooking Olympics. Now, excuse me, I have to finish these savory profiteroles.